Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Titans Tube. In this video, we're going to recap that terrible game last Sunday. And of course, as you see, Caleb is not here with me. He is on a trip right now, out of town, and he's going to be out of the Titans Tube business until at least Thursday. But you know what? I think we have an upgrade on our hands. We have Mr. Christopher Newell, who is a fantastic Titans YouTuber called Titans in Truth, because he kind of tells it how it is. He gives you the truth of the matter. So, Chris, what is up? Thank you for joining me. How's life? What's good?
Man, everything is great, man. Glad to be here this evening. You know, had a little technical difficulty, but we are I am raring to go, and this game,
rock and roll.
But let's roll with it. Let's roll with the punches.
Let's roll with the punches. The Titans took a big-time punch against the Ravens on Sunday. And, man, this is going to be tough, man. This is going to be tough to get through. But we can do it together. We can stick together and get through this recap here. Titans falling 21-0. And that 0 is the first time they've ever put up 0 at Nissan Stadium. So many questions. Just after the first 4 weeks, things were looking good. And then these last 2 weeks, it seems like, you know, it almost feels like the sky is falling. And this team is kind of dismantling before our very eyes. So let's get into this game on Sunday. Real quick, just briefly, obviously the big notes. I'll say a big note on offense and defense. On defense, starting off, you know, the bottom line is they gave up 21 points in the game, and really that is not that bad in the grand scheme of things. Last week they gave up 13 to Buffalo. This week they let up 21 to Baltimore. Yes, it absolutely could have been worse. But, you know, the points are what matters in the game, and they're only giving up 21. Yep. But the killer, man, the huge killer in this game was those third down conversions. I don't know if I've ever seen a team so poor at getting off the field on third down. I got the stats up here. Let's see, the third down conversions. They were 12 of 17 on third down conversions. So Titans defense managed to put them in third down situations 17 times, but they could not get off the field. That just killed us. They controlled the time of possession throughout the entirety of the game. And they did convert one fourth down. They were 1 for 1 on fourth down. Baltimore ran 72 total plays. But yeah, man, and these weren't third and shorts, man. These were third and 7 plus. A lot of them third and 10s. We gave up a 3rd and 17. So I mean that just really hurt. I think it hurt the offense too, because the offense wasn't able to see the field a lot. They couldn't get into a rhythm. So those extended drives really killed us. So what was your takeaway on the defense? I mean, it seemed like we were okay. Obviously, I mentioned the points. We did get one turnover. But yeah, we got 0 sacks. I thought the pass rush, man, has been severely lacking for a couple weeks now. So I've been talking a lot. I'll throw it to you. What did you see out of our defense against Baltimore there?
Well, you said a lot of it, and it's the truth. You know, first of all, you know, like you said, 12 of 17 on third down, and Flacco hit his first 7 straight third downs. And, you know, the defense was already behind the 8 ball because that was a 17-play drive to start the game. And so, you know, you're on the field that long. If you're on the field that long and the offense, you know, only gets about 5 or 6 plays, and then turn around, you're on the field for 17 plays, you're already behind the 8 ball as it is. You know, 7 straight third down completions to begin, and 12 of 17 in all. And that is a great question. Where was the pass rush? I mean, the pass rush was non-existent. I mean, Joe Flacco, he had time to he sat back in the pocket, could look first, second, third, fourth reads. He could call his wife, say, what's for dinner? Could, you know, book his flight home, you know, make sure the kids are in bed and everything is okay. I mean, was able to do all of that and still had time to maybe sit back, have a meal right quick before he threw the ball. I mean, utterly ridiculous that we got no pass rush in this game. And I mean, Joe was able to pick us apart piece by piece.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to have our, resident Malcolm Butler giving up a play yet again.
Yes. Gave up a few big-time plays. Third downs. Yeah.
Big ones. And, the touchdown to Michael Crabtree, what was it on? Third down.
Match up one-on-one. I mean, you got to expect at this point in the season, if you're Malcolm Butler, offenses are seeing that, and you're going to be targeted, and you've got to be ready to come play. And yeah, he has yet to put together a full solid game for us so far.
Not even a full solid game. He hasn't even put together a solid quarter first, much less a game.
He got a pick in the end zone against Miami in Week 1. That's the one play that I can think that he did positively for us.
And he got lucky on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I think JR made a $60 million mistake. with this one.
Already calling it a mistake, huh?
I mean, now
you're not alone though. You're not alone.
There's still 10 games left to go, but the way it's looking at this very moment, you're only as good as your last game, and with 6 games already in, it's looking like we wasted $60 million that could have went elsewhere. I mean, as of the moment. Now, he might be able to clean this up. I don't know if he will or not, but but like you said, teams are going to go at him and are going to go at him often. They're not going to go at Adoree Jackson or Logan Ryan. They're going to go after Malcolm Butler because they feel that's where they'll have the most success, is going after him.
Yeah.
So he better clean this up and clean it up fast. So Coach Coombs needs to get in his tail and get in it immediately.
Yes, agreed. Because, I mean, there's options. If we have to move Butler around, maybe not even play him. I mean, Logan Ryan, I saw a stat. I can't remember exactly the stat, but Logan Ryan is playing some really good cornerback as far as, not giving up a lot of passes that are thrown to receivers in his direction that he's covering, not giving up a lot of yards after catch when he does give up those completions. Maybe we move him to the outside if this problem keeps up. And, of course, we have LaShawn Sims, who we've seen make plays for the Titans in the pass defense over the past 2 years. But, man, yeah, you'd really like to see that huge $60 million. Was it 60 or 50 million? One of those.
No, it was 60. It was $61 million, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Just given it sucks that he's the person that is the liability in coverage.
Very much so.
So yeah, the pass defense was just, honestly, it came down to the third downs. I thought we were fine on first and second down because we got them into third and long situations all the time, and that's what you wanted from your defense. But we couldn't sustain any pass rush. We couldn't do any pass rush for that matter. And so yeah, like you were saying, Joe Flacco had all the time in the world just to pick us apart on third down.
Absolutely, and I mean that's. And that can be demoralizing to any defense. It's like you get in third down, but when they complete it and you can't get off the field, it's like, oh, Lord, we got to stay on this field even longer and, keep this thing going. But, it is what it is. I've had my angry rant and everything, which I'm still not happy about. But, the pass rush just was non-existent. I mean, Arakpo didn't do anything. Morgan gets hurt. And what happened with Harold Landry? I mean, Landry would know how to speed and to get off and that bend, but didn't see any of that.
No, he's been very quiet the past couple weeks. Ever since he had that strip sack against the Eagles on Carson Wentz, I haven't really seen much from him. Didn't really see anything against the Bills, didn't see anything against the Ravens. And, it is kind of surprising and a bit frustrating that our two rushers, our edge rushers on the outside that have been staples here for the past several years, Morgan and Arakpo, have 0 sacks. You're saying it right now, 0 sacks between those two guys so far.
That is probably the biggest shock of all. And right now, I mean, you got Jarrell Casey leading the team in sacks with 3. Kamale Correa has 2. And, I mean, what shockingly enough is that Malcolm Butler, Logan Ryan, each have more sacks than Arakpo and Morgan combined.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's crazy.
You know, that is crazy. And well, let me see. I think Byard might have a sack too, if I'm not mistaken.
He might.
I could be wrong.
Look that up.
I will have to, gotta confirm the stats, but I believe Byard has a sack too.
Yeah.
With that interception, which was one of the lone bright spots.
Yeah, I know. Jayon Brown has a sack. Wesley Woodyard has a sack. Who hasn't played in the past couple games? These are our inside linebackers, but our outside rush guys, still have the goose egg in that category.
That's very true, and I mean that. You have, and I mean, as much as we have to harp on the defense about third down, you got to give a little bit of credit to the Baltimore Raven offensive line, which I didn't think was that good, but it looked better than I expected, and did some very good things. And I mean, Flacco was having a pretty good year so far, and we still had some trouble with the run game a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but still, 2 touchdowns were scored. And this is a team that was supposed to be ranked near the bottom of the NFL in rushing the ball, and we couldn't shut that down completely.
That we didn't shut it down completely, but there was a little bit of improvement, at least from a statistical standpoint. I mean, they still ran the ball 35 times, which is a lot, but they only averaged 3.5 yards per rush on the ground. So, I mean, we were stuffing the run here and there, but then, again, those third down situations, Flacco was just throwing passes down the field, so that was really what really extended the drives for him. If you do want to look at a bright spot, I know we talked about this briefly before recording here, but Rashaan Evans was showing up throughout the game. I believe he had about 7-8 tackles and 1 tackle for loss. He showed a little bit more burst. He showed a little more of a comfortability, I think, within the defense and knowing his assignment, knowing his job. What did you see from Evans in that game?
I did see, I definitely saw some bursts. I saw him getting to the football, especially in the run game. I think, they'll have to use him rushing the pass a little bit more with Derek Morgan, unfortunately, going to be out. I would say also, he definitely showed he could be a help to the run game. I think he's getting better. Coach Vrabel talked about it, in his day after press conference yesterday, saying that, he's getting better every week, practicing better. Of course, we got to know that he's missed an entire offseason, so far with injury. But, right now, this has basically been his training camp, kind of, learning on the fly. And so it's nice to see that he's getting a little bit better each game with that, but still want him to be like just that impact linebacker that, eventually will probably be the heir apparent to Wesley Woodyard, which hopefully, and it looks good that he may be coming back for this next game. So that's going to be very important. I'd like to see Woodyard and Evans playing next to each other. I would like to see how that works. I think that would be good for Rashaan Evans' development for sure, for them both to be on the field at the same time together.
But I don't know, they're both kind of similar. They have similar styles. I mean, you have Jayon Brown, who's more of that coverage linebacker, and you can also blitz him here and there. I know Woodyard can do a little bit of everything, but, I mean, he is that big-time run stuffer, and we've really missed him since he's been out in the run-stopping game.
Sorely missed it.
Yeah. So, I guess, finishing up on the defense here, if you got anything else to say. I mean, still gave up 21 points. I think overall they've been okay. It's about points scored, kind of the bend but don't break mentality, or not mentality, but just the way that the defense has been playing is bend and don't break. But yeah, I think they've done enough to where we can win some of these games, but the offense is what's really holding this team back.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, And crazy enough, quiet as it's kept, this defense is still in the top 10, statistically. I believe they are 7th total defense, and they're still top 10 against the pass, and I believe they're still top 5 in scoring defense, which seems to be the most important statistic is the scoring defense. So they're still top 5 in that, despite the rush defense. But of course, We're definitely going to get to the debacle that was on the other side of the ball. But, I mean, I think that's where, the issue has been is that it looks like, this defense is going to have to carry the offense. We thought it was going to have to happen for a little while, but maybe not this long into the season. But, I mean, I think there are some improvements defensively. The pass rush needs to come back. But at the same time, I think, besides Malcolm Butler, I think there are some improvements. Hopefully Dane Cruikshank gets a little bit of run at safety with Kevin Byard. Wesley Woodyard looks like he's coming back. And, we got to get that pass rush together again. Yeah. And they may have an opportunity with this going overseas.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing, I think, for the defense right now is to generate that consistent pass rush. Because if they can start doing that, I mean, you're saying how we're already kind of statistically in the top 10 in defense. We get that pass rush going, I mean, we're only going to be better, and we could be a very formidable defense and tough to score on. But it seems like we have great pass rushing weapons, but it just hasn't come together yet, especially these past 2 weeks.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you want now, we can transition to the offensive side of the ball here. Boy, oh boy, I want to throw out a couple other kind of head-scratching stats here. Obviously, the total yards at 106, that's not going to win any games in the NFL. But what really kind of sticks out to me is we had 0 turnovers. Baltimore had 1, so we won the turnover battle. We had only 4 penalties called against us all game, so we were disciplined in that aspect. Baltimore had 10 penalties against them. But, man, I mean, if we played a clean game in that aspect, so what does that tell you? We just got straight beat. I think it was – what I'm seeing is not maybe not good execution by the players. We're not executing the plays that are called. And I saw that a lot in this game. I mean, obviously, the biggest stat, though, was the sacks. That's what killed the offense. We could not keep Mariota off the ground.
And I agree with that. I mean, that, you said it, we won a turnover battle +1 and, 4 penalties, but the most telling number of all, and we've all been talking about it before, is the number 11, as in 11 sacks. Ladies and gentlemen, here at Titans 2, I'm telling you, we cannot make this up. That is not a typo.
No.
11 sacks given up by what's supposed to be one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. Now,
What happened?
Now, if it was Tyler Merritt and Kevin Pompfield, and Corey Levin in the game trying to protect Marcus, even though that is a daunting stat, okay, we know it's inexperienced.
Yep.
Think about who was on this offensive line during this game. Taylor Wan, Jack Conklin. Yep. Supposed to be our 2 bookend tackles.
Yeah, all pro bowlers.
Jones, pro bowlers. All pro. 11 sacks.
That's what is that one? That was 1 sack away from tying the NFL record when they started keeping track of sacks. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, you and I were both at the game. I mean,
yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, we ran into each other at the game. It was awesome.
Yes, we did.
We were very hyped. That was before it was before kickoff, so we were both like, "Yeah, we're going to get this win. I'm pumped." Boy, did that not happen.
Yeah. And then,
just trash bags over the head. Just I can't be seen right now.
I mean, forget counting up points. I'm counting up how many sacks is that they racked up. I mean, it all starts with the offensive line. I mean, talking about the offense, yes, as a team, we flat out got our butts kicked in the worst possible way. It was, and I said this in my rant with everybody on Titans the Truth on my Facebook page that I did. The butt whooping that Marcus took in this game, it was like being taken to the woodshed and my mama just whooping my tail for something I did at school or for not doing chores or something like that. I mean, that was a butt whooping I'd never experienced before. And I've gotten my butt whooped a few times. That one, I was telling some people at work and my full-time job, and I said, I don't know if Marcus upset the offensive line at the pregame dinner or the breakfast. I don't know if, maybe he didn't get Taylor Warren the tall boy beer that he wanted or something. I think the offensive line must have been upset with Marcus and just was like, you know what, we're going to teach you a lesson. And just decided to take it out. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know.
To be fair to the line, I guess, I mean, they are to blame for some of these sacks, but there's 11 of them. And there were a few of them where I thought Mariota, held the ball too long. He did have some protection, and he ended up running into a few of these sacks. And he did. We don't have access, I guess, to the tape, or if there is access to looking at film somewhere, I don't know about it. Maybe were there open receivers downfield that he wasn't seeing, and so he was also to blame for some of that? Or did Baltimore just have all of our receivers covered up and were shutting us down? Nobody could get open. He couldn't go anywhere with the ball, and he couldn't make a decision quick enough, and he ends up running himself into a sack, which, I mean, if we're going to point the finger, I think it's a little bit of everybody was to blame. I mean, 11 sacks, that does not happen in the NFL.
I absolutely agree. I mean, that is, 3, 4, 5 sacks, 5, 6 sacks in the game, maybe even 7 I've heard of. I mean, you've never heard of double digits by one team in a single game before. I mean, that's unprecedented.
Well, that Saxonville was a thing. They get like 10 sacks or something like that last year.
You know what? You're absolutely
right.
Had
the Saxonville thing, and that was a huge deal. And we did them one better by getting sacked 11 times. Good grief.
Absolutely. And you're correct on that, some of those sacks were on the offensive line, and I absolutely agree. I would say at least about 6 of those sacks were on Marcus himself. I mean, I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm just like, throw the ball away, get rid of it, get rid of it. And it's like he held the ball entirely too long. And I think, I kept hearing it, with Mike Key, voice of the Titans, and Coach Dave McGinnis, who does the play-by-play with him, that receivers like the Baltimore Ravens, the corners did a very good job of pressing the wide receivers at the line of scrimmage. And, I mean, right now, especially, Corey Davis, he should know how to beat a press.
Yeah,
and,
he's big enough, he's strong enough, he should be able to beat that.
He should be able to get off of a press like that. Don't get me wrong. I know Jimmy Smith and Marlon Humphrey are some decent corners, but, press coverage is going to be there sometimes. There's techniques to beat press coverage or to find a way to kind of shake that guy that tries to jam you at the line and take you off your route. And I see with this offense that it is about timing, that the routes have to be run crisp and precise, but Marcus has got to know when to adapt to that when the press is not there. You got to check off, know your reads. If not, get out of there, throw it away. And just was not smart football played nowhere on the offensive side.
No, it's almost as if Mariota is kind of, he was rattled. I mean, and it's like
he's terrified.
It looked like he was playing scared because not only because of Baltimore's pass rush that was constantly coming, but it's almost like he doesn't trust the receivers at this point. He doesn't trust the protection, and so he looks a little rattled, and he's not sure. He looks indecisive, and I think that's definitely affecting his game right now, especially in the past 2 weeks.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I think and I said this before on one of my episodes of Titans and Truth, is that I think Marcus got affected really hard. Number one, when Delaney went out against Miami.
Oh,
I mean I knew that was going to be a big problem. I did not know it was going to be this massive of a problem. I mean, we are crying our eyes out for Delaney Walker right now because he's not there. And then, that was his security blanket. That was his go-to on third down to keep the chains going.
Yeah.
Then your second option just quits the team. Just quit on the team. And Rashard Matthews.
Yeah.
And, I said, this might be a good thing because, this will force Marcus to trust his other receivers. Be like, you know what? I gotta go to Corey Davis. I gotta go to him. I gotta go to Taywan Taylor. And go to Sharp on third down. And I agree with you totally that it seems like Marcus just does not trust his guys right now. He's afraid of making a mistake or, throwing them open. He had a deep pass to Taywan Taylor. I thought Taywan couldn't have been more open than that.
Yeah, you got to hit that.
I think it was a combination. You got to hit that one.
Did you see a little bit on, there's a few posts on Twitter or social media looking at the bigger picture of that play, and it looked like the ref deep in the middle of the field on that play kind of disrupted his route a little bit. Is that people? Like that. Yeah, is that people just making excuses? I mean, if you have a guy running that wide open, you still got to find a way to hit him.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but hey, I mean, look out, ref. I mean, you can't interrupt a play like that, obviously. But okay, let's talk about Mariota for a second here. And let's talk about this too. But I do want to mention it. Speaking of Mariota not getting help, not trusting his guys, he's not getting any help from the running game. And I mean, if you want to have a balanced offense, if you want to have a successful passing game, you've got to be able to run the ball at the same time. Derrick Henry, Dion Lewis combined for 12 carries for 30 yards. Mariota led the team in rushing with 2 carries for 25 yards. He led the way on the ground, which is ridiculous. But Mariota, his numbers look efficient on paper. He was 10 for 15. 117 yards, and of those 15 passes, I specifically remember one was a throwaway. So, I mean, when targeting receivers, he was 10 for 14. No touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over, no interceptions. He came out with a pretty respectable 90.1 quarterback rating. Did have 25 on the ground, like I just said. So what was your evaluation then of I guess maybe in a bigger picture, what are you seeing out of Marcus Mariota and his development this year? Especially coming after that Philadelphia game where he looked like everything was kind of clicking and coming together for him. Corey Davis breaking out. Corey Davis didn't get his first catch until like maybe the fourth quarter, maybe the end of the third quarter, which is crazy that we can't get him the ball more. So I don't know.
Game.
Yeah. So what? I mean, we did just talk about Mariota looking a little bit rattled, but I mean, looking at the numbers, he looked like he was efficient when he wasn't getting sacked. So what's the problem here?
I can't put my finger on it. I mean, again, I thought about this before. It's anybody that knows me. I have been in Marcus Mariota's corner from the beginning. Even though,
me too, man.
I did not agree with the pick at first. I wasn't sure if I wanted Marcus in the beginning, but you know what? They picked him. I said, you know what? I'm going to support him. I'm behind him. And at times, I have nothing but the utmost confidence in him. Recently, after that Philadelphia game, my confidence, I'm not going to lie, has been shaken. I'm not saying I'm giving up on him. Absolutely not. Let's not get that twisted. I still believe in Marcus. My confidence in him is a little shaken. If you said it on from 1 to 10, at first it was at a 10. It's probably coming down to about a 7 right now. About a 6.5, 7 right now. And I don't know if it's he doesn't fully have the offense down. I don't know if it's the owner nerve. Maybe he doesn't have full, complete control of his hand, which that probably has a lot to do with it. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things, besides the injury, the whole offense, because, it's been said with this particular type of offense, it's going to take at least a whole year to completely master this offense. And Marcus has been through, this is his 3rd offensive coordinator, I want to say, his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jason Michael, of course, that was still Wisenhunt's offense.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me started on that. But, I mean, I think, and I know this is the big 4th year because he has his 5th-year option and everything, but I'm not ready to completely give up on Marcus just yet, although my confidence is heading down on him. Yeah. I still think that there are still good games for Marcus to be had. I think, he's got to trust his guys. He's just got to let them go get it. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to throw an interception. It's okay if we have a defense that's going to back you up. But you got to give your guys a shot. Show them that you believe in them, and they will fight for you. They will fight for you.
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen that, these players love Mariota. They love playing for him. They defend him when times are going tough, and they praise him whenever he's playing great. But it's the thing throughout his whole career. It's that consistency issue. But I'm completely with you, man. I'm all in on Marcus. Maybe not all in because that consistency issue is a problem. But let's not forget how horrible this team was at the quarterback position since McNair. I think this is clearly the best quarterback this team has had since Steve McNair, and I would hate for us to show him the door after his rookie contract or whatever if we don't want to sign him to I don't know about a max contract, but just at least an extension to keep him around as our franchise guy. That's why I'm hesitant because there's nothing guaranteed in the NFL. If you want to draft a quarterback in the next draft, there's no guarantee that he's going to turn out to be a franchise quarterback. It's so hard to find these guys, and I've seen enough good play from Mariota that I think he can get it done. I mean, he brought this team from the cellar back into relevancy. He got us our first playoff win since 2003, and I say he got us our first playoff win because it was him. He absolutely carried the team in that Kansas City game in the second half to bring us that win. And I was talking to this about Caleb the other night, and that how I kind of see it is I feel like the Titans as a team, as a organization, are inhibiting Mariota's progression more so than Mariota is inhibiting the Titans from becoming a yearly contender. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm biased. I love the guy to death, and I want him to succeed more than anything in the world. But honestly, I think he's a good quarterback, and he just has to find that consistency and that trust.
And I mean, I was listening to a radio show earlier on 102.5 The Game. Jared, the GM, I got to hop on my guy, Jared,
every now and then.
And he said,
he gets a lot of hate.
Yeah, and he said something that hit with me, and that is extremely important. And that is, what does happen if Marcus got shown the door and you give up on a perfectly fine quarterback? And I mean, like you said, there is no guarantees in this league. So let's just say, for kicks and giggles, okay, Marcus isn't good enough. We let him walk. We draft another quarterback, let's say a Drew Lock or something like that. What happens if Marcus goes to, say, I don't know, New Orleans? Let's say Drew Brees is gone. He goes to New Orleans with Sean Payton.
Ooh.
Bang, they're in the NFC Championship. They're in Super Bowls. He's lighting it up. Or he's the answer in Jacksonville and comes back and tortures you twice a year. I mean,
oh gosh,
honestly enough,
I couldn't take it.
And I'm just saying, and what he said was, if you do something like that, that is the risk that you take. That is the risk that you're giving, is that, hey, if he's a free agent, he could go wherever. He could go, he can go to Houston, or, he ends up in New York with Saquon and Odell Beckham and rips it up, And, I mean, that is the risk. And what needs to happen, and, I'm pretty sure we'll play a blame game or something like that, but right now, they need to put more weapons around Marcus to be successful. We have a perfectly good quarterback, but the weapons around him are just not good enough right now. Yeah. And like I said earlier, it starts with the run game. Where has that been?
Yeah, because, exactly. And I was about to say, his best season as a pro was 2016. He throws for 26 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, I believe. Yep. Had a few more on the ground, as he'll do. And what's the thing about that made that his best season of his career so far? We had a great running game. DeMarco Murray and that offensive line was crushing people. Yeah. So I think Mariota's a quarterback you can win with. I think you can win a Super Bowl with him, but I don't know if he can transcend and supersede an offense that has virtually no running game that maybe an Aaron Rodgers can or a Tom Brady. Obviously, there's not many Tom Brady's or Aaron Rodgers out there. And but like in any offense, you need balance, and he does not have that supporting run game right now.
And that's the thing that kind of surprises me is that, and I think that is the catalyst, because if you look at, like you said, perfect example is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, I know those are elite quarterbacks, but one thing about them is that they're consistent. Yep. With Drew Brees, he's going to throw for at least 250, 300 yards every game. That with Aaron Rodgers, he's making no-name receivers look like stars. I mean, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of Geronimo Allison until now? Like, who?
I have, but that's just because I'm a nerd for football. So I do know he is a receiver for the Packers, but he's not going to ever be in a Pro Bowl or anything like that. Like, yeah. But he can put up numbers because he's got Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers can make it happen with just about anybody.
And Peyton Manning is another example. I mean, how many no-name receivers did Peyton Manning get paid? I mean, Pierre Garçon. You had
Austin Collie. Remember that guy?
Austin Collie. I was thinking about that earlier today, and I was listening to that and talking
Brandon
about
Stokely.
Who is it that he made famous? Austin Collie, Blair White. Some of these guys.
Blair White. Nice call. Yeah.
I mean, made them, well, in Indianapolis anyway, household names. But he also had Adrian James in the backfield to help him out too, and we just don't have that consistency anywhere in the offense.
Yeah. I mean, and we touched on this a little bit, but maybe there is something to be said for all of these coaching changes too. Like, Mariota has not had the time to settle into a scheme, so that could have some to do with it. I
agree. Because, I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers. He's had the same coaches and offensive coordinators for, the last 10 years. Drew Brees has been with Sean Payton 8-9 years. I mean, Peyton
Brady,
Manning,
Brady
and Belichick. As much as I hate the Patriots, they've been together
Josh
forever.
McDaniels,
They've been together forever. And, I mean, with Jared Goff, I mean, besides Fisher, I mean, McVay is the only offensive coordinator he's really known. He's had him the last 2 years. So that's consistency. And I think, a lot of times we look at the players. We also got to look. We've had a bunch of coaching staff changes. That needs to be more consistent and stable. And I think that's where John Robinson's trying to get at, as far as having some type of stability. And, I know a lot of times people were saying, hey, Matt LaFleur is going to be the next hot candidate. Might as well enjoy him for a year. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. I think that is starting to die down, so that might be a blessing for us that, he may be around as offensive coordinator for a couple of years if things get together.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, this was not a good look at all for LaFleur, because, I mean, think about it. In this day and age where the league is now geared towards offenses succeeding, the fact that a shutout can happen is bad. Like, that should never happen in the NFL. And you look at quarterbacks like Brock the Lobster Osweiler. He comes in for Miami as a backup quarterback against a Chicago defense. He puts up 380 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. You can't tell me that Mariota is in a better quarterback than Brock Osweiler. There's something that goes deeper than Mariota's play as a quarterback than what we're seeing. Like, there's problems that's running deeper here. Because this guy's clearly talented. I think he belongs in the NFL to play quarterback. I think he's got the skills to do it. He's got the head to do it. He's got the right work ethic to make it all work. But something is just not right. And the fact that we got shut out while committing 0 turnovers and committing 4 penalties all game, I mean, that's so head-scratching. It's mind-boggling. That's one of the biggest things that I've ever seen in the NFL that just doesn't make sense.
I agree.
The Titans are cursed, man. We're cursed. I can't believe we have to deal with this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
we have had a serious quarterback problem for, like you said, since Steve McNair. And
kind of an offense in general, honestly.
I would love to take Marcus's brain and his heart and put it in Vince Young. We probably have ourselves a heck of a quarterback.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot to be said. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Marcus, I really can't put my finger on it. What's going on? I mean, I don't know if it's confidence from him that's just shaking. I don't know if, like I said, if the scheme is down. Because, I mean, obviously they brought LaFleur in specifically to benefit Marcus, to build the offense around Marcus, to his skill set. And exactly. I think, again, with Delanie Walker going out, I think, forget Rashard Matthews, I think Delanie Walker going out was made the biggest impact, not in a positive way, on this offense as a whole. And I think that messed up not only the passing game, but also the running game as well. Because, I mean, we're getting absolutely, like you said, nothing out of Jonnu Smith. Ferguson gets called up and it's had more catches than Jonnu Smith had in the last 2 weeks. I think, you got to have, it's about confidence, I think, in my opinion. And I don't know if Marcus just fully is confident right now. And, I mean, Coach Derek Mason of Vanderbilt basically said this. And I put this to the entire team. If you don't play with emotion, why are you playing the game? Mm-hmm. My question was, where was the emotion out of anybody on this team? Withstanding Marcus, because I mean, I know Marcus is very even keel. He's a straight up professional, one of the most professional players I've ever seen. But where's that fire? Like, where is that? Sometimes get up in the face, like, come on, let's get it. I know that's not his type. I know that's not his style. But I'm like, I want to see some emotion, at least a little bit.
And we have those players on our team, I feel like. Obviously, Delanie was a huge vocal leader for us, and he's not able to play for us. I mean, Taylor Lewan, very vocal guy. Ben Jones is seen as a leader on this team. On defense, like Jarrell Casey, Wesley Woodyard, Kevin Byard, we've got these high-energy guys that are usually like, get up for games and are flying around. But it does seem like there's been a lack of that in the past couple weeks for some reason. We were riding so high after Philadelphia. We thought it looked like the team was as close that it's ever been. And now they, for some reason, have this lack of energy, it looks like.
And I mean, I cannot remember who said it, but I heard it best over the weekend. A lot of players on offense, and probably as a team in whole, takes the attitude of the quarterback. The quarterback is the leader of the team.
That's interesting,
without a doubt. The quarterback is the leader of not only the offense, but then the leader of the defense as well. Because, whenever something happens, like Al Pacino says, you're not a running back, you're not a diva wide receiver, you're a freaking quarterback. You're the one that everybody looks to first. Drew Brees, he has that fire in him from the beginning of the game, talking about the win, and they feed off of that. Phillip Rivers, we're about to face him. Fiery, fiery in all senses of the word. They take off of that. Marcus, very even keel, very laid back, and I don't know, maybe this team is taken from that, which is not a great thing, I mean, in my opinion. So, I mean, attitude reflects leadership.
I mean, I think that there's something to be said for that, for sure. And you're definitely onto something. That could very well be a reason why there maybe is a lack of energy. I did see, I forgot who tweeted this out, but somebody tweeted out that before the game, they overheard Marcus, they had the players around, and he said something to the tune of, if you want effing respect, let's go out there and earn it. Mm-hmm. And that's something that Mariota doesn't do, and he certainly doesn't use that kind of language. Hopefully his mother doesn't hear about that.
That's true. That's true.
But hey, that's great. I think that's great fire. That's great leadership. And, I mean, Mariota naturally, I don't think he's ever going to be that rah-rah Drew Brees getting in the middle of the huddle, Tom Brady. probably cursing out his wide receivers when they do something wrong. I don't know if he's never going to be that because that's who he is.
I mean, that's his personality. And, I mean, you're absolutely right because, I mean, I hope his mom didn't hear that because, she is not going to accept that kind of language, Mr. Mariota. But at the same time, I mean, you're absolutely right. And as mad as I was on that game, I said this. I'm like, I don't want to hear anybody on this team talking about respect because – number one, you've had the last 2 weeks to earn and keep that respect. You've not only lost the national respect, you're starting to lose.
People are laughing at us now.
You're looking at you're losing local respect. And get Coach McGinnis said this best. Get your own house in order right now. And that's right now what we need to do. Forget about trying to get respect from everybody else. Get respect right here at home. Get respect right here, and then that is going to go a long way. Doesn't matter if the rest of the nation respects you or not. Most likely than not, you rack up wins, the respect will come. So, you want respect, go earn it. It ain't given.
Yeah, can't have any more of these Jekyll and Hyde performances where we go out and beat the defending Super Bowl champs, go out, take down the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, who just got blown out by the Cowboys, so who knows if they're even any good anymore. And then go out and lay duds in Buffalo, and then the biggest dud on offense I've ever seen at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I think, here's another thing. I'm not sure if we know what identity we have. I'm not sure what the identity of this team is, especially through that Baltimore game. I don't know what the game plan was going into it. I don't know. I still don't know what we were trying to do because we couldn't establish anything from happening. So I don't know what kind of a team we have identity-wise, to be honest with you.
I definitely agree because, I mean, in the first 4 games of the year, we saw an identity of aggressive, hard play, going after it, going for the big play. Last 2 weeks, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm starting to think, is this Mike Mularkey and Terry Robisky reincarnated? I'm like, I mean,
And Mike Mularkey never got shut out, though. That's even sadder. Mike Mularkey never got shut out.
And he didn't lose to the Ravens either. He didn't lose to the Ravens last year. He didn't lose to the Ravens last year. And I mean, the Buffalo game, that one would have been a Mularkey loss for sure. But, one thing about it, we'd have been up for this type of game with Mularkey. Again, I'm kind of, I'm not talking about clamoring for Mularkey to come back by any means, but I mean, a dud like this, Mularkey wasn't going to let that happen at home. I mean, come on, it says something that, we're talking about the players, but Vrabel and LaFleur are definitely showing their inexperience right now. And I mean, it's starting to show that it's growing pains everywhere, not just on the players, but on the coaches too.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree, man. Let's see. I guess if I did want to talk about another play on offense or lack of his playing thereof, Derrick Henry, man, 6 games in, and we've seen inconsistent play out of him as well, and not just talking about the blocking necessarily, but just in the way that he's running the ball. He doesn't have a single touchdown yet this year. I think that's a huge surprise and a huge disappointment for the offense as well. So what do you think the problem is with getting Henry going? Is it him, or is it LaFleur not really understanding or not putting Henry in position to succeed?
Normally, I would have said a combination of both, because I think it is a point that Derrick Henry, I think, is a different back than Matt LaFleur is used to, and I don't think he knows exactly how to use him. But at the same time, for Derrick Henry, he just seems so uncomfortable in this offense. I honestly don't think this is the offense for him. And this might have been an overreaction for me, but I said I was done with Derrick Henry. And there was a specific play. There's a specific play that amplified my apathy towards Derrick Henry. It was a play that Derrick got the ball. The hole was there. He was coming through the hole. Then he started dancing. If he just kept with the hole, he could have gotten about 4, 5, 6 yards, but then started to dance a little bit, trying to go around, and ended up only maybe getting 2 or 3 yards, if not less. And I'm like, that play there just it summed it all up for me. I'm yelling with fans around me like, Derrick, just run through the hole. I mean, you are a 250-pound, supposed to be monster. All you got to do is bust through the hole. If there's not one, you make a hole. You easily going to get about 3 or 4 yards to carry if you just fall forward. But instead, he's trying to dance, trying to get to the outside, trying to hit a home run. I'm like, I had enough of that with Chris Johnson. Always trying to break a home run instead of just getting the yards that are there and keep marching and moving the chains. And that...
Yeah. He's got a... Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And I'm just saying, it's just that run just amplified my anger. And that's why I was just like, I'm done with him. I'm done with Derrick Henry right now. I know there's probably a lot of Alabama fans that listen that will probably just roast me to death. And if that's so, go right ahead. But I'm just like, at this point, unless something else changes, I'm kind of done with Derrick Henry right now. And, I mean, until he proves me otherwise, and I hope he does prove me wrong. Right now, this is Dion Lewis's backfield. Because Dion Lewis, even though it hasn't been much, has shown a little bit more than Derrick Henry. He has the only rushing touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, of this season. If I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
And Mariota
has
one. That's right. Mariota has the other. We only got 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. And neither one are from Derrick Henry. And not even close to 100 yards.
Right.
Now, the Jacksonville game, I saw a little bit. I'm thinking, okay, it's coming on the way up. We know Jacksonville's good defense. But, everybody keeps talking about, he's a 4th quarterback. We got to get a lead. We got to get him going then. No. You got to get going from the very first carry that you get. Forget trying to wait till the 4th quarter. Get started early. Yeah. First carry on, you need to be doing something. And it's just not there.
Ooh. Yeah, amen. I like the fire, man. You need to be in that locker room and talking to these players. I like it.
I mean, the anger in my eyes from Sunday, that day, I literally wanted to go down, get in the locker room, and just go off on every last player in there. And I'm a season ticket holder, as some of you may know or may not know. The fact, and I know, and I'm not trying to go off the segue here, I feel it for the fans, because I'm like, especially those who pay some hard-earned money to come to this, to see this team, and you get that performance. It's like, I felt like...
Oh, 100%,
You were there, you know this. I felt like it was a slap in the face to every single fan that was there, and it felt like a low blow to every season ticket holder. And that's unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about complaining that not enough home fans are showing up to games, not enough home support for the Titans when they do play at home. And I'm not saying that the players have been complaining about that, but I know that is something that's talked about. But man, you put up 0 points at home in a game like that, that's the opposite of what's gonna of putting fans in the seats. Like, fans aren't gonna want to come and see that. Yeah, I mean that's a terrible look, and we're gonna have opposing fans coming in to our stadium for the rest of the season, basing it off that performance. So. I think that's a good point.
Think about this. I mean, the Eagle game was bad enough. It was like, there were a lot of Eagle fans there at the game, and it was nice to see them home happy. There weren't. We kind of outnumbered the Raven fans, but who had something to cheer about at the end? Raven fans were cheering. And think about our next home game. Who it's going to be against? Those daggum New England Patriots coming in. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of them coming in too. I mean, I already got people I already got friends calling me talking about, you think you can see about hooking me up, seeing about a ticket to the game, seeing if there's a price for a game. I'm like, I don't want y'all coming for that particular game.
Yeah, seriously. Good grief. Yeah. All right. So I guess if we're maybe try to wrap things up, looking ahead here, man, we go to London. We got to face this Chargers team. And, man, that is going to be a tough game. We never play well against Phillip Rivers. I think we've only beat the Chargers once in the Titans era. Melvin Gordon is going to be a huge problem for us. So we're 3-3 right now. We got to beat the Chargers, which is this might be the toughest game of the year. One of the toughest games of the year, at least up to this point. Then we got the Patriots at home. I mean, this team, it's easy to see this team dropping to 3-5. I mean, the season is like kind of spiraling out of control very, very quickly. And if we don't right the ship by next week, I mean, maybe, who knows, 6-10 might win the AFC South by what it looks like. This division is awful. That's the one good thing going for us right now. But yeah, this schedule is getting pretty tough the next few weeks. I mean, so
here's the thing about this. After the Eagles game, we were, and I know a lot of people are already tired of going back to the Eagles game, but that's the best light of hope that we had. After that game, we're looking at, we thought that was the toughest part of the schedule, besides the New England, with New England, Dallas, Indy, and the Texans later. But you're thinking after that, like, 3-1. I'm like, we're thinking, we could go on a roll here. We're thinking we'll be 5-1.
We could get one of the top seeds in the AFC or something.
Could have been looking at 5-1 going to London, and maybe possibly being 6-1 going into Monday night, against the Cowboys on national TV. But now this happening, like you said, I mean, this game, and if y'all saw me with the praying hands, I'm like, I can literally admit, and I love the Titans to death. I don't want y'all thinking that I don't have any faith. I am terrified about this matchup. I am scared to death to get up early Sunday morning to watch this game because I am just, I hate to be like this. I really do. But I am afraid that this could be a massacre, that the world, not just the United States of America, this game in London, you got all of Europe, the entire world is going to watch this game. And I was listening to the Mike Vrabel show earlier with Mike Keith on the radio, and there was a guy that covers over in London covering the NFL, and they're already saying like this game might be the biggest London game of the three. As far as fans, they're talking really? This game, when the tickets went on sale for this game, I think the gentleman, I forgot what his name was. I think it was McReynolds or something like that. I cannot remember. But he said that this game sold out in less than 72 hours. That they already had over 80,000 fans for the Raiders-Seahawks game. They're thinking they're going to get a little bit more for this game. And, that they're looking forward to it and things like that. And I'm like, you have a golden opportunity to gain a whole new slate of fans, and I'm terrified of the product that we're about to present to them. And, you said it.
I'm with you, yeah.
This could spiral, this game, if we lose this game, we may very well be 3-5 going into New England, and might as well make that 3-6, going into the Indianapolis game. And if that happens, heads are going to roll big time. And it's like, might as well start draft watching.
Oh, man.
I don't want.
It's too early, man. We've been looking forward to this season for months and months.
I still have faith. I want this team to win this game. Let me clarify this for everybody out there. Justin, you know this. I want this team to win. I love this team way too much.
I don't care about getting a good draft pick. It's all about winning. It's all about winning for me. Yeah.
This matchup does not feel good to me. I mean, Phillip Rivers, they put up 38 on Cleveland, and Cleveland's supposed to have a pretty nice defense. They put 38 up on them. I mean, there was a play.
Cleveland held. I was going to say, interject real quick. Cleveland held Baltimore to 6 points. They went to overtime with Baltimore. Held them to 6 or 9 points. Yeah. So they do have a pretty good defense. Yeah, like you said, Chargers just thrashed them.
And so, I mean, you know, Phillip Rivers, they're getting hot. Their only 2 losses were to the Rams and the Chiefs, who are the 2 hottest teams. You know, you got, like you said, Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon. You got, you know, Mike Williams, the guy that if anybody watched my draft coverage from earlier this year, I was clamoring for Mike Williams. Like, I had an infatuation, a man crush on Mike Williams. I wanted him badly. And now he's starting to come along. Defensively, thank God Joey Bosa's not playing in this game, most likely. But you still got Melvin Ingram, Casey Hayward. You know, you got a lot of good, you know.
They got a rookie safety, don't they, that's like killing it right now, don't they?
I forgot
I don't know what his name is,
though. I forgot his name. I want to say, not Florida State. Derwin James.
Yep. Good call.
You know, we got our work cut out for us. But, I mean, if we're going to win this game, we're going to have to, A, play our game, B, offensively, we got to do something. We're going to have to score if we're going to win this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be...
We have to. Got to keep pace. Yeah, with Rivers and that offense,
So...
Oh man, so I don't know. I don't want to say like the season's on the line. I mean, if we keep winning in our division, I mean those are the big games. If we keep winning in our division, I think we can still keep pace with in the division, the rest of these teams. So I'm not ready to say the season's on the line at this point. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough going the next few weeks. Yeah,
but we got to stick together. We got to stick it up, and we got to. You know, buckle up our chin straps, man up, and there's only one way to do it. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of people say we're hitting rock bottom. The only way to go is up. So
can't score negative points. You can't get any worse. So
okay.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So gotta step it up. And you know, and I know our luck hasn't been good against the Chargers in recent years, but maybe. You know, when a team scores a whole bunch of points the week before, usually they kind of come back down to earth the next week, and the team that doesn't kind of comes up a bit. So hopefully that Ravens game is not indicative of this team and where we really are. You know, hopefully that is a good team that just had an off day at the office and not a, you know, bad team who a few weeks ago had good games.
Yeah. Hopefully. I like it. I like the attitude. I like the optimism here. That's what Titans Tube's all about. We try to be optimistic and overly biased. Keeps our spirits up a little bit. But yeah, hey, I thoroughly enjoyed this, Chris. I guess if you want to, we can wrap it up. Do you have any final thoughts or anything? I do want to say one thing real quick. I forgot at the beginning about your channel. Obviously, guys, the channel name is Christopher Newell. Show is called Titans in Truth, and you've done some sweet things. You've gotten Corey Curtis on as a guest, local News 2 sports guy, WKRN. You've gotten Teron Davenport on, guy that covers the Titans for ESPN. You had this really cool video too where you went out and were talking to all of the Titans rookies back in May. I'm not sure I forgot how you got access to be able to do that, but you were talking to all the rookies, getting quick interviews with them, so you're doing some good stuff, and you guys definitely should check out his channel, subscribe, and check out his videos, because, you're doing it right, man.
Yeah, and let me throw in this other nugget. Yeah, that was, as a season ticket holder, I was able to get invited. I think it was like a rookie gala event where all the rookies, undrafted or drafted, were there just introducing themselves to the people. So, like I said, you know, got to talk to Robert Spillane, Dane Crookshank, Ethan Wolf when he was on the team, you know, Deontay Burnett and Akram Watley. You know, I was hoping one of them made the team.
Yeah.
Got to talk to Mike Keith for like a minute or two and stuff like that. So that was cool. Yeah, you know, it's good to have interaction with those type of guys. You know, Teron Davenport earlier. Also, like you said, Corey Curtis and things like that. So big things on the horizon. Also, and I may put this on YouTube. I don't have it. It's on my Facebook page. I was, of course, featured on News 2 on TN Nation. Got to be noticed on that.
Sweet.
So I'll put that on my Facebook page. Gotten over 1,000 views on Facebook already.
Yeah.
So I'll put that on the YouTube channel as well.
Dope.
And, I think I may have to get my contacts in your way because you guys are just as super fans as I am.
We're hardcore. So, we like it. Dude, we gotta collab.
Hey, we go hard for our team.
Man, I enjoy talking Titans with you, man. We gotta collab more often. Caleb missed out.
Oh, absolutely.
Caleb definitely missed out. He's gonna have to join us next time, or you can just be the new Caleb. I'll just call you Caleb from now on. You're totally part of Titans Tube now.
Hey, Caleb, that might work for me.
Right on.
But yes, definitely subscribe as y'all saw.
We'll put links in the description and all that too. So
yeah, definitely.
What's that sweet shirt?
But you can definitely check me out.
I like it.
Yeah, this is the shirt and everything. Of course, I gotta thank a sponsor of Titans of Truth, my cousin, LaCrystal Cleveland of Craft Gasman Creations. She created this the sweatshirt, a hoodie that you just saw. If any of y'all have seen me at Titan game with my Titans of Truth shirt on, that's where it came from. So, definitely, I'm putting that out there with the gear. So, you can wear this too. And I know you guys have your have the Mariota shirts and everything, which I've seen and I like.
Hang 10 boys, Hang 10. They make some good shirts,
Hitting on the wave.
Exactly.
Like that. So I definitely like that. So everybody, I hope you tune in. Titans Tube, I've enjoyed this. This is probably some of the most fun I've had in a long time doing the show. And Justin, I look forward to doing this again. I would love to do this again more.
And I didn't realize we both have season tickets in the same end zone, in the north end zone, right? I don't know exactly what section you're in, but we gotta look out for each other during the home games. I'll be there.
143.
I'm 146. I like it.
Hey, perfect. We'll be seeing each other way more often.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. All right. Well, sweet. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Christopher Newell's channel. And, man, hopefully the Titans can get this thing turned around in London. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Mariota bouncing back with 5 touchdown passes. I'm feeling it. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, cheers. Cheers, mate.
Absolutely.